Broncos Television presents Broncos Beat with Alexis Perry.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back into our homes for another edition of Broncos Beat. Thrilled to be joined today by a few of my favorite people. We have Cecil Lammey from 104.3 The Fan. Hey, Cease.
How's it going?
Hey, James Palmer from the NFL Network. James, good to have you.
That's my favorite part of the week, the NFL Network, and I love that Matt's here.
I know, same.
Yeah.
Matt Boyer from Broncos TV. Matt, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Right back at you, James. My favorite Buckeye.
You guys, Dave Logan said last week on this show, if the Broncos want to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC West title, they don't need to score 50 points, but they can't just score 10. Broncos wideout Courtland Sutton was recently asked if he thinks the Broncos will experience the same scoring woes as they did in 2019.
I don't see that, being a problem this season. I think the guys that were here last year understand that that's frustrating. The guys that are coming in this year are hungry and ambitious and ready to work. And Coach Shermer understands what we have in our rooms as a collective offense, and he's looking forward to being able to go out there and put up points. I don't think he's worried about scoring points at all, just because of, like I said, the weapons that we have.
Guys, including free agents and drafted players, which weapon added this offseason do you think will have the biggest impact for the Broncos offense in terms of scoring? Matt, let's start with you.
Alexis, I think it's got to be Noah Fant. We've heard so much about Pat Shurmur and what he can do with two tight end sets, this new offense that will supposedly, enable Drew Lock to make more plays and really utilize all of those weapons. I think Noah Fant is posed for a big year. We saw what he can do. Think back to the Browns game, that long touchdown run. He's had a couple of those demonstrating that 4.4 speed that we've seen before. I also think that Albert Okwuegbunam and Nick Van Nett are going to be huge assets to that tight end room, enabling Fant to get open in those two tight end sets. So I think, at least for me, Noah Fant in that two tight end sets, I think are going to be huge for the Broncos on offense.
Well, for me, it's about Courtland Sutton. Now, I know we're talking about weapons added, but Sutton's got to be that experienced leader. He is that. You use the word experience just leading us up into this segment. Courtland Sutton has shown us the tip of the iceberg so far in his pro career. He's got to continue to take that to the next level, and he's got the most experience. Not much, but he's got the most with Drew Lock. So leading those young receivers, I'm all about these wide receivers. KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, of course, Courtland Sutton. But Sutton being that veteran, that experienced leader, he needs to continue to progress and show those young guys the way.
And when Cecil keeps bringing up experience, I think I go to Melvin Gordon then. I think this, like a lot of people around the league, believe veterans are going to be a huge part of this season. And there's so much youth as a part of this offense and so much youth at these skill positions. I think his addition might prove very valuable as the season goes on. Specifically, also, this team was 30th in the NFL in red zone, I think, and 28th on third down. I might have those flipped, but it's something like that. And those are two aspects for Melvin Gordon where he can change this offense. He can keep the offense on the field by converting on third downs and also the red zone. That all leads to more points. And also, I think he is a great check down addition for a young quarterback, and who better to help a young signal caller than a run game, specifically a running back that is one of the best in the league at catching the football out of the backfield as well.
Well, speaking of the run game, in 2017, Pat Shurmur's offense in Minnesota ran the ball 11% more than the league average. In the 5 games with Drew Lock last year, Rich Scangarello ran the ball 5% more than the league average. So we talk about receivers. You mentioned Melvin Gordon. You guys, is the key to success based on the run game?
I think so. I think we talked about third down efficiency for the Broncos. They were one of the worst on third downs last year. In order to get to third and short, and in order to get in manageable third down yardage, you got to have the guys like Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay toting the rock to get to that 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2 on 1st and 2nd down. So I think those two guys are going to play huge roles, and the running game has to step up if the Broncos want to get better on third downs, especially.
Yeah, Matt's on the money with this one, and having looked at Shurmur's offense, not only the film but the advanced data dating back to his days with the Rams when you had Steven Jackson, usually he is a one-back guy, but the Broncos have 2 starters. They have 2 number ones. We cannot forget about Phillip Lindsay. Phillip Lindsay is too good to relegate to having 40 carries on the season. That's just not going to happen. So you look at 2017. it's a very good example. You had a limited quarterback in Case Keenum. Now, Drew Lock has way more talent and upside than Case Keenum, but, he's still coming along, still somewhat limited as a second-year pro. He's going to be. How do you help that out? You run the ball. And just like with Minnesota, when Dalvin Cook was banged up, by the way, it was Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon, you can have Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay leading the way, helping to set up this young quarterback with all these great weapons around him.
And you look at the addition of Melvin Gordon, as I like to see that this is my block. I picked the right guy. I like that all of you guys kind of went with somebody else. But look, my guy is the one we can't stop talking about. And also because of his addition, makes Phillip Lindsay a better player in my mind. I think you're going to get a fresher Phillip Lindsay that can make more explosive plays in the run game. And that's a great addition, right? And I think Matt's perfectly right. You got to be better on first and second down to help yourself on third down. But if you can get explosive plays in the run game as well, I think that's a big addition. And the other part of it is, and we don't talk about it at all, this is a better offensive line probably than it was a year ago. Dalton Reisner, in his first season, was their best offensive lineman. I'm excited to see what that guy's going to be like in year two. And then also, when you look at Juwan James coming in, and then you also grab Graham Glasgow, all of that, I think, helps your running game as well to make this group a little bit better.
Okay, really quick, I want to take a look back to the final 5 games of 2019 with Locke in as quarterback. Drew averaged 21.4 points per game, but in the 4 wins, he averaged 26 points per game. I know 24 points per game kind of seems like the bar for Drew Lock, but should we be raising that bar given what we've seen from Drew Lock and what he's actually capable of?
I don't know if we should be raising the bar. I think that that's got to be where the bar is, right? 24 points.
I like 26 though.
Okay, fine. We'll go to 26. I think when you look at the division, especially, we've said it all offseason long. It's going to be about competing with the likes of the Chiefs. The Raiders got faster this offseason, so yeah, they're going to need to be in that 24-point range. But to put an exact number on it, that's a little dicey for me.
Yeah, and I don't want to scare anybody, but the Chargers are pretty good too. So when you look at 24, I think that's a sane number to say. Like, that's a 7-point jump from last season, basically. So I like 24. Always you guys are talking about raising the bar. I'm talking about raising the roof. But 24 is about the number I like.
Yeah, 12 teams in the NFL scored more than 24 points a game a season ago. So listening to Cecil as well, that's a big jump. And I do think they have much more talent, but I do think they're going to find ways to win games. And I think with a defense that the Broncos have and that you expect, maybe sometimes that might not be needed at times, but at the same time, you want to have the ability to go out there and throw up points. But I think you got to manage the game in essence and how to win it as opposed to just see how many points we can put up on the board.
All right. So an extra touchdown a game. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think everybody would.